One of the reasons why I think I'm controversial is I think I've been living in a time warp. So I left, I'll be honest with you, I left Australia 20 years ago. And the Australia that I remember 20 years ago, half the stuff that I say now, it would have been said and no one would have had a problem with it. I came back 20 years later like I was in a coma and I started saying what I was saying 20 years ago and suddenly I'm like controversial. And I think that's one of the biggest mistakes that Australia has made. It's extremely sensitive. It's become really sensitive. Now, I don't think supercar fans are. I think they're very vocal and and I think one of the reasons why people either like me or hate me is because I say what I believe, right? And that doesn't happen today. There are so many conflicting, even with journalists and team owners and race, they have so many conflicts that they actually don't know who they are anymore and they can't say who they are. So I'm going to blame the time warp that I literally left 20 years ago where we would say these things and everyone's like, yeah, you're right, mate. Yeah, good on you. And now I come back and they go, well, you can't say that. I'm like, well, that's not what I remember Australia to be.
Social media is one of those things that I got told once by a team owner, big guy in the US, most people probably assume who or guess who this was that told me at the time, but he said, if you ever have to think about it, it's not worth posting. And I don't want to live like that in a way. I think about it, and there are things that I've posted. I look back, think, what was I thinking?
Scott, quite often your first thought you have is actually the right thought, right? Because it's unfiltered. And for me, I say it, right? I just put it up there and I go, and then you wake up in the morning because I'm in America and I'm going, yeah, maybe I could have probably said that a little bit different. But you can't pull it down, right? Otherwise, then you look weak.
Yeah, no, exactly.
But I do like people who actually say the thing the first time because that's probably what they're really thinking.
Yeah.
And then the rest of it's just filtered and watered down. And at the end of it, it's not what you were actually originally thinking.
And we do have passionate fans. We see it on race weekends, don't we, Will? But it's not necessarily that they're not necessarily right that all of their opinions are right. But some of them, I read some of the comments and you do see some merit in what they're saying. So I think it's important that we do have the conversations. Because it's not, like I said, I don't agree with everything you've said, but I've agreed with a lot you've said. And that's why I want to have a conversation because somewhere, along the line, there'll be ideas that can help improve the sport. And it's not going to be all of them, but just some of them. And that's why you should have these conversations. But it hasn't been as much of an open door as I would like to supercars, even for me personally. And I felt like if I can't have a conversation with anyone up there, there's no way in hell they're reading a Reddit forum about what maybe we could do different or what people are unhappy about at a supercar event.
Yeah, look, I think the other difference with us is that it's not a business for us. I don't make money out of supercars, right? So I'm not conflicted in any way, right? I don't own a team, as much as I've tried. We don't own the supercar series. We're a sponsor, right? And so we put money into the sport. And there's very few people who put money in the sport that have a vocal approach. Now, I speak to a lot of the sponsors who aren't as vocal as I am, but have the exact same thoughts I have about the series, right? And so it's almost like I've become the poster child to go out there and spokesperson for a lot of the sponsors. So for those who think that it's just me saying this, I can tell you, I'm not going to name them because they haven't asked, they wouldn't want me to, but there are other sponsors who feel exactly the same way I feel, that they just want the sport to be better and bigger and faster. And it's not going in the right direction. And so what we're trying to do is maybe my shock jock approach, hopefully it shocks people into thinking about it. They don't have to act on it, but hopefully they think about it. But again, it's not just me. There are other sponsors who feel the same way I do.